When it came time for me to find a topic for this vlog, which was about 45 minutes ago, I went on the Atlantic's Photos of the Week, and one of the photos just really stood out to me, and I knew I had to do this as a topic. This was a photo of Sana Naz, I hope I'm pronouncing that name right, but she's an acid attack survivor, and she posed for a picture in Pakistan for International Women's Day. So obviously International Women's Day is a huge thing, it's very important, but I wanted to shift the focus onto acid attacks in particular because I think that it's not something that everyone here in the US is familiar with, and it's obviously a really big deal. So acid attacks have been gaining a lot of traction over the past few years because the rates of them have been increasing. And an acid attack is basically the act of someone throwing acid or a similar corrosive substance onto someone with the intent of disfigurement, harm, or torture. So I was actually introduced to this topic of acid attacks on YouTube. I actually watch an upsetting amount of British reality television on YouTube because it's free and entertaining. And I found a video of this woman, Naomi, in the UK who was a victim of acid attacks, so I'll probably link that video. It's a really good video. And it just kind of tells her story, and that's how I heard about acid attacks for the first time.
I was like, it's burning, like acid. I just remember like literally like just humming in my head, trying to like not freak out. And I remember when the ambulance came and
So ever since then, I've been kind of fascinated with acid attacks, partly because they're so prominent in the UK. The statistics of recent acid attacks are just insane, the rates that they're increasing in the UK. I'm just going to read some statistics. In London alone, not just the UK, but London, 454 acid attacks happened in 2016, and that is a 173% increase from the 261 attacks in 2015. In 2017, the first 2 months, January and February, there were 49 acid attacks in just London. That's like almost 2 a day. It just baffles me how the UK has one of the highest rates of acid attacks per capita. The website ASTI, Acid Survivors Trust International, lists a few countries that have the highest rates of acid attacks. And besides the UK, there's India, Colombia, Pakistan, Nepal, Bangladesh, Uganda, and Cambodia. So the UK is kind of stands out from the rest of these countries because you think of India, Pakistan as very third world countries, not developed countries, but the UK is considered more of a Western country and it's extremely developed, especially London, which is a metropolitan area. So there's no really explanation why acid attacks are happening at such a large rate in the UK. Police don't even have a firm reason why. They say that probably because it's easy to carry out, because the supplies are easy to buy. Actually, a lot of these people who carry out acid attacks can hide the substances in squeezy water bottles and just carry them around as if they were water, which is so disturbing. When I found that out, I was in shock because when you would think of an acid attack, someone having acid thrown on them, you would think of a bucket or something larger. But these chemicals are so dangerous that you can just have a small amount of chemical and they can do so much damage. Going back to the question of why this has been happening so often in the UK, there's a really good documentary from Vice on YouTube. I'll also link that. It's called The Rise of Acid Attacks. And actually one of the workers for the ASTI, which I mentioned before, is in this documentary, and he discusses with the interviewer some of his theories as to why this has been happening. And he actually talks about masculinity being one of the key factors of why this is happening. It's an underlying cause, and it's just something that is deeply embedded within the culture. It's something that can be seen in the statistics when you look at how many men have carried out acid attacks on women. Just some more disturbing facts. Many of these crimes often go unreported and unpunished because many of the survivors of these acid attacks fear that their attacker is going to kill them or attack them again if they come out and try to get them arrested. Just some statistics to back that up. There were 2,078 acid attacks from 2011 to 2016, and only 414 of those crimes resulted in charges being brought. That's for the UK, by the way. But if that doesn't make you realize that this is a huge issue, then I don't know what will. Acid attacks can have serious medical complications on the victims, as well as obviously disfigurement, which is what the motive is usually behind these attacks. Kind of tying this back to International Women's Day, on that day this year there was a fashion show where Indian acid attack survivors posed to spread awareness about this issue and hopefully to stop this issue from happening. Not only does it obviously hurt to get acid thrown in your face, but it's an attempt for the attacker to completely control their victim and to put them in a place of permanent damage. You can't really completely heal the scars from acid attacks. You're just left with them all the time. Most of the time they're on your face, so it's just a way for the attacker to brutally kind of leave their mark. It's really hard to come up with a solution completely to this issue because many of the acids that are used in these attacks just come from household cleaning substances. To kind of sum this all up, I think this is most definitely an issue that needs to be talked about in the US more. I didn't really hear about it that much. Maybe people just hear about it in passing on the news, but it's not something that happens as frequently in the US as it does in other countries, and it's obviously really detrimental to these people's lives. I definitely do recommend watching that Vice documentary because it is really informative. But thank you for watching.